Atlas the Worxruff 1. Welcome to Nexus. March 10th, 2276. It's a revolutionary product, said Atlas, pitching his device. It tells the time, the date, and locations. It has a built-in GPS and anti-venom. It can reverse age and injuries that would otherwise be fatal. Those who buy it can modify and customize it via attachable modules. You can even charge your phone with it by connecting the solar panels. If you are in distress but have no phone service, the SOS button will send its own signal 1,000 miles around to others, with one who can forward it to the rescue services. And let me stop you right there, Mr. Silton. While it is true this Tempatrix of yours would be extremely convenient, it's still impractical and overpriced. Between the way you apply it and what you're offering, it's just a huge flop. What about the side effects? The fact that the consumers can customize it and put their own spin on it is just asking for a lawsuit. What if there's nobody with a Tempatrix within 1,000 miles? The fact that it's permanently implanted into your arm is not something all people will agree with. It's not permanent, sir. That's besides the point. Nobody likes needles, and they certainly don't like 4 of them going a full inch deep. Is titanium even biocompatible? It is, sir. That's besides the point. What about the reverse body thing? Won't that remove memories? And it has anti-venom. After you said it can reverse one's body to before an injury? What I'm saying is that nobody is going to buy this. It has a taser. For what? Don't even answer that. The Tempatrix will not work. Pack it up. We're done here. Atlas left the office in despair. He had spent millions designing and creating the prototype and the second version. Now they had rejected him. However, he was not done with the Tempatrix. Ava, start audio recording. Yes, Atlas. Which file name should I assign it? She said in a monotone voice. Personal logs. Okay, beginning recording now. Day 62. I've begun to test the time-traveling module on the Tempatrix version, February 21st, 81.
Okay, this is where I have to swoop in and clarify things here. That is version 2.21.81. That is not a date. That is not a date. That is version on the Tempatrix version 2.21.2 or 2.21.28. The first step in the wormhole, yeah.
The first step is the wormhole stability, or as I like to call it, a temporificium. I have an Atlas here, cousin of the earthly apple. The time it will open up to will have someone to witness the temporificium and throw the Atlas back into my lab. If it comes back with no visible complications, camera testing will begin shortly after. Initiating formation. He pressed the small button on the side of it. It was lying on the desk. It shot a small blue ball 3 feet away. It flattened and spread out into a circle shaped like a tunnel. Around the side, it was as if it were two-dimensional. Looking into it was trippy. It looked flat until you put your head through. Then it looked like those infinite mirrors. He threw the Atlas in. It seemed to shrink, getting smaller and smaller until it was invisible. It's holding up well, even better than I had anticipated. It should be in the year 2000 now. I see it. The way it appears is very interesting. It grew bigger until Atlas could see something else. It was another person. He had jumped in along with the Atlas. Oh no, someone has entered the temporificium. Ava, equip manual arm. Someone is entering our time and should be sent back. Okay, the other Worxruff drew closer. He made it through. Ava tried to grab him and put him back, but he weaved and dodged. Grab him? He seems to be agile. What's your deal? You're supposed to be in 2000. The temporificium closed up. Too late. My apologies, Atlas. I was unable to complete the assigned task. Self-destruct will be... You don't have to do that. I don't blame you. I blame him. He pointed at the guy. Me? Yeah, you. You weren't supposed to jump in. Oh, and I was supposed to know that? Yes. Who knows what kind of changes to the timeline you could have made. Listen, I don't know if you believe in the butterfly effect or not, but no one knew who I was, and no one cared about me. I don't think much would have changed. Fine. You can look around and do stuff. Just don't get in my way. What year is it? And what's your name? I am Atlas, inventor of the Tempatrix, and you are in the year 2276. His jaw dropped to the floor. I'm 276 years older than you? Not only is your math incorrect, but that is not how time travel works. Anyway, I'm leaving for the Peace Pond. Later, Ava. Goodbye, Atlas. Wait, hold on. You're just gonna leave me here. In your lab. Unsupervised? You're an adult, aren't you? Yeah. I trust you'll be responsible. Plus, Ava can step in when she feels the need. What's your name? You didn't hear Ava responding to me? If anything, I should be asking for yours. My name is Norbit. Goodbye, Norbit. Atlas climbed the exit ladder, opened the hatch, and stepped outside. The sun was brighter than he remembered. He must have stayed in his lab overnight again. He unlocked his car and sat in the driver's seat. He drove to the secret location called the Peace Pond. It was a little lake Atlas had discovered that no one knew about. He stopped the car and made his way to the deck. The ambience was enough to put him in a state of calmness, or perhaps peace, the chirping of birds, gentle splashing of water on the wood, and the croaking of the frogs. After almost an hour, it was disrupted by someone. You want to know about how to stop the cleanse? I want to know how you found me. This is like a mile away from your lab. It's not that far. Wait a minute. I built this place. I thought the name Peace Pond sounded familiar. I built the deck all on my own 2 years ago. 278 years ago. Nobody knows about this place, right? I haven't told anyone. I fixed it up a while back and kept it a secret. Good. You were asking about the cleanse. What? Earlier? Oh yeah. What's your obsession with it? Every paper in your lab mentioned it at least once. I'm trying to find out what happened to the prophecy. Did it fail? It's like it never happened. Something wasn't right, and I'm trying to figure out what. Did anybody find out who the hybrid was? No, but I know someone who does. Who? 2. Meant to be bomb. March 11th, 2276. Atlas brought Norbit down even further down than his lab. The room looked like a dungeon, and in the center was a live dox. Holy hell! You caught one of those things? Not just one of them. The first. I finally got him to tell me his name. What is it? Ceruleus. He was chained to the wall. He was staring at Norbit without saying a word. A permanent smile was plastered on his face. I found out high-voltage shocks are pretty effective. It's not as good as extreme cold, but it does the job. It's incredible how invulnerable they can be, especially their subscrite bones. Aren't those his bones? That's his skin color. His bones are just beneath. The prophecy relied on 8 people, some of which Ceruleus had consumed himself. I looked into where they were at the time, and none of them were even remotely close. It was almost as if the timeline was meant to loop back around because of a time traveler and, inevitably, fix itself. I have a plan to bring them together. But first I need to go home. Where am I gonna go? Atlas looked at Ceruleus. I'll take you to the city with me and see where you can stay. There's a city? Cool? Yeah, a lot can change in 276 years. Now come on, let's go. Atlas brought him back to his luxury apartment. Atlas slept on his own bed, and Norbit had the couch. The next day, Atlas woke up to something black, with ears. And, holy shit, that's Norbit. What the? He jumped up, startled. March 12th, 2276. How long have you been there? Since 5 ante-meridium. What's for breakfast? I'd get myself something, but I don't have a car, money, or any means of identification. What flavor nutrient bar do you like? Norbit didn't say anything. He just cocked his head. I forgot you're... Okay. Here in the big 76, we use nutrient bars that can be flavored to taste like just about anything, without all the nasty side effects of the food of your time. Do they make one that tastes like pancakes? Yes. 3. Implant success. It tastes so real. Who would have guessed 276 years into the future that technology would be so cool? Yeah, I wonder. On the drive to the lab, Norbit had a question. That time travel thing that you have. The Tempatrix. Is that what it's called? Anyway, you think I could get one of my own? Absolutely not. I don't think you realize how expensive it was to make that. You can have the optical implants that make your eyes glow. Cool. I call blue. No, I will get blue. I call white. Atlas stepped into the chamber. Ava, initiate Tempatrix and optical implant. Okay, Atlas. Two mechanical arms from within the chamber grabbed the Tempatrix in Atlas's arm. The needles were exposed. It brought them closer. Piercing on the count of 3. 1, 2, the Tempatrix was shoved in with a sharp sting. Ava had used the oldest trick in the book by acting before the final count. 0 blood vessels punctured and 0 nerves severed. Adrenaline levels subsiding. Implant success. Please state the name or hex code of the color implant you want. All. #0BF. Injecting anesthetic. A different needle rose from below in one of those hospital bed looking things. It pierced his skin and all faded to black. He woke up, who knows how long later, to Ava saying, "Implant success. Please rate your experience." 9 out of 10. Thank you, Atlas. Norbit next. Atlas stepped down. He felt the Tempatrix in his wrist. It felt foreign. It was as if it were not supposed to be there. He saw Norbit lay down. It was muffled, but he could hear them say, "Please state the name or hex code of the color implant you want." Injecting anesthetic. Atlas refrained from looking. He didn't want to see the thing that happened to him whilst unconscious. Atlas stared at himself in the mirror. It took what felt like hours, until the muffled words of Ava caught his attention. "Implant success. Please rate your experience." 10 out of 10. Thank you, Norbit. "You look cool," said Atlas as Norbit stepped down from the chamber. "I could say the same for you. My next goal is to start the plan in the past as quickly as possible. The Tempatrix has a cooldown period. If it's used more than twice in a day, it will implode and then explode, destroying anything in a 1,000-mile radius. I do the first steps, and then we go back to my place and I wake up to you doing something potentially gay. But I'm straight. I didn't say you're gay. I said you do something gay. Come on." Atlas stepped onto the ladder and climbed outside. He didn't wait for Norbit. He held his arm out like a gun and activated the Tempatrix. The Temporificium formed. "Wait," said Norbit. "Are you sure you know where and when you're going? I've done my research, and the only reason I haven't continued testing is because you proved it's safe. I should be gone for about 3 seconds from your point of view." Atlas stepped into the Temporificium. It took him by force. It felt as if gravity had changed vertically. It looked so slow from outside, but inside felt like twice the speed of light. The end was near, like the light at the end of a tunnel, or dark at the end of a tunnel. 4. First contact. February 12th, 2074. It was pitch black. He couldn't move around because of not being able to see anything. The Temporificium was the only thing to retain color. The only thing Atlas saw was Rabdimov's brighter half. He realized that there was nothing there and moved closer. "Rabdimov, you need to come with me." He snapped backward. "Who are you? And why?" "My name is Atlas Silton, and what I told that if you don't follow me, you die a horrible death. I've got nothing to lose, so..." "Fine. So what do you want me to do?" Atlas brought him to a planet called Centauri. There they brought along a Centaurian named Nori. The last time they traveled to a planet called Saltu. "You two stay here. I will return in 3 seconds." He formed the final Temporificium and returned to Norbit and Ava. March 12th, 2276. "How'd it go?" "No struggle. They think I'm gone for 3 seconds. I've started the cooldown timer. What we need to do is go home, come back here, finish everything started, and send you back." "Send me back? Did you really think you were going to stay here?" "I guess not. I suppose it would be nice to be back in my time." On the drive to Atlas's apartment, the sky grew dark. A rumbling was heard in the distance, and there were brief flashes in the clouds. Then, one drop on the windshield, then another, and way more. Rain, heavy, pouring, rain. They rushed inside but still got soaked. They dried off and went to do their own things. Atlas fell asleep to a moderate yet consistent thunderstorm. March 13th, 2276. He woke up the next day to find that it was still pouring outside. It had been raining hard all through the night. He stood up and walked into the living room. Norbert was still asleep on the couch. Atlas left the building and walked to his car. He sat in the driver's seat and heard two doors close. He looked to his right and saw Norbert sitting in the passenger seat. "I thought you were asleep. I was going to leave you there on the couch and come back. I woke up when you were about to leave. By the way, why do we have to go out of our way to time travel? Time travel is illegal until they can regulate and control it. Wow, it's very foggy. I can hardly see a few meters ahead." Norbert looked out the window. A huge body of water that looked like a dam. "How deep is that water?" "Oh, what? The Great Dam? You wouldn't believe me if I told you." "Yeah, I will. How deep is it?" 205 meters deep. "Whoa, if you were to fall into that, you'd be rescued within 10 minutes. Thousands die every year to this river. Some even call it the Creek of Death. That's why it's under surveillance." "That's really sad, dude." "Mostly because they were doing something stupid." "Oh." Only a few minutes later, things took a turn for the worst. The rain had worsened. Then Atlas felt the car slightly drift. It shifted closer to the edge. He tried to turn it the other way, but it kept sliding to the right. He was hydroplaning. He tried to turn to Norbert, but... "Norbert, unbuckle your..." The car was airborne. Some stupid momentum thing made the car start doing 360s in the air the entire 300-foot plummet. It felt like a roller coaster, but without any safety regulations. The impact was muffled from the car. Outside, the windows just got darker and darker. Atlas reached back, pulled out the headrest, and used it to smash the door window open and escape. He swam where it felt like he was going up. Atlas tried not to look down into the black depths. He reached the surface and gasped. His lungs had never filled up with air faster in his life. He searched around frantically for Norbert, his eyes darting like crazy, only to see nothing but his short-circuited Tempetrix. "No, no, 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 please, no, God damn it! Oh, I knew I should have waterproofed this thing." The shock of adrenaline faded away and was replaced with the pain of the lacerations on his back from the glass shards. As if things couldn't get worse, a rock fell from above and knocked him out cold. 5. Confiscated. March 14th, 2276. He woke up in a hospital bed, confused and wrapped in bandages. He clutched his wrist. The Tempetrix was gone, and in its place was an IV tube. A nurse came into the room and went behind the privacy curtain. "Where am I?" No response. "Where is Norbert?" That made her look up from what she was doing. She peeked around the curtain. "Who?" "Norbert. He was in my car when we fell into the river." "I'm sorry, you were the only one found in the river. He has to be out there. We'll notify authorities. They'll launch a search party." "And where's my..." "Your what?" He clutched his wrist again. "Oh, the foreign object was removed and disposed of." Atlas didn't have the energy to react extremely. He just sighed and facepalmed. March 20th, 2276. Atlas sat at the desk in his lab. It was time design. The Tempetrix version 3.0. It would have a longer range taser, no need for temp or asphyxium cooldown, and most importantly, waterproofing. 6. B-pedal. March 22nd, 2276. It was done. He had used new parts along with salvaged bits from the prototype in the second version. "Now that that's done, who's going to come with me?" "We can," said a little voice behind him. He turned around and saw Willow standing there looking small in the doorway. "Willow, you're supposed to be in your terrarium." "I know, but I wanted to see what you were working on." "It's the Tempetrix version 3.0. He stood up from his desk and led Willow back to her terrarium. "Why can't I or Truff go out?" "You already know why. Gustashid is at full maturity and can produce his own heat. You two would freeze if you were out too long. You're not quite ready yet." "Okay, fine. But can we still go with you?" Atlas narrowed his eyes and thought. "I've never taken you three outside, have I?" "No. It's much warmer out there than in here. I suppose I could give it a try. But for now, You need to stay under your heat lamp. Atlas handled the quartz and placed it very precisely into the reader of the Temperatrix. It was done. He sealed it shut and began the implant process. After it was all said and done, he took Willow, Truffleo, and Ghostachid outside. Willow hid her eyes from the sun. "That's the biggest heat lamp I've ever seen." "Atlas, can you turn it off?" she said unknowingly. He chuckled. "If only. Am I right?" Ghostachid shrugged. Truffleo walked over to her. "Didn't you read your books? That up there is the sun. It burns with the power of 1,000,000 heat lamps. You can't turn it off. It just goes away every 12 hours. Atlas cocked his head. "Close enough, Truff." "Where and when are we going?" asked Ghostachid. "You don't need to worry about the time. I will bring you to the times and places we need to go. All right? All right. Good." He fired the Temporificum. It was much faster and smoother due to the refined design of the third version. The Temporifixium itself was a lighter shade of blue this time. The previous versions had progressively darker shades, so much so that the prototype had a white to gray to black gradient. Now all you need to do is not be frightened by the loss of control over where your body goes. February 12th, 2074. They arrived at Sol 2 and gathered Nori and Repdimov. June the 28th, 2075. Atlas told the three of them to go to the jungle and guide Ruven. "Don't say who I am when she asks, it'll ruin the timeline, and try to act as if you had lost me." "See you, Nori. It was nice meeting you," said Willow, waving. They disappeared into the other plant life and blended in. "Bye, guys," she waved back. Atlas turned around and activated the Temperatrix again. "Again? Where are we going this time? These are the last few times, I promise." They traveled to a few hours later close to a ravine. They hid behind a rock. He gave them 2 loaded handguns. "When I say 2, and only when I say, I want you to jump up and start firing at the monsters." "Got it," said Repdimov. You could see them running up. They jumped over the ravine. "Uh-oh, guys, we're not done yet. What are we gonna do? We can't fight those off." "Ah, now," Atlas said as he jumped from behind the rock. "Stay off them." They fired at the monsters and thankfully never hitting the group. Most of them got scared and ran away, but the Shixes remained. Atlas ran down from the rock and confronted the Shixes. He jumped on his hind legs and used his claws to slash its throat. It dropped dead instantly. The other, probably scared of meeting the same fate, flew away. "Are any of you injured?" "No, Atlas." The exchange ended with Atlas leaving Repdimov and Nori with Raven and bringing the bipedal flora with him. 7. Detained, March 22nd, 2276. Atlas left the bipedal flora in the lab. June 28th, 2075. He explained everything they needed to do. His work was done. He stepped back into the Temporificium for the last time, only to step out and see several armed police officers surrounding the area. "Put your hands up. You're being arrested for unregulated time travel and the reckless endangerment of at least 5 individuals." Before Atlas could react, all faded to black. Timeline erased. Timeline erased. Timeline erased. Timeline erased. Timeline erased. Ha 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 ha. The divine are powerless. Ha 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 ha. Atlas the Worxruff by Sub-Zero-I, DINO&CreepY.
Should I just voice that? This is a joke, right? This is an actual joke. Right? You stupid? You dumb 11 Labs? Come on. What was that? The end there is supposed to be so much more dramatic. Oh my gosh. It's like, yeah, I wish you could, if there was a way to tell it how to talk, but at that point you're probably just gonna have to use AI voice changers and stuff like that. Oh, okay, I might actually just have to voice that last part. Before Atlas could react, all faded to black. Timeline erased. Timeline erased. Timeline erased! Timeline erased! Timeline erased! The Diviner Palace! That's so bad, because I can't go at full volume, but you get the point. Yay.